Well, we appreciate every single one of you being out here. If we can start giving this a little bit of context, that our founding fathers were very adamant that almost all the responsibilities would stay with the states. Section 1, Article 1, Section 8. I've been going into high schools and junior highs. I was in front of first through fifth graders having a constitutional discussion yesterday, and everyone gets it. Everyone gets it that our founding fathers were deathly afraid of a federal government that would become too strong. They were afraid that it would become a monarchy again. In the monarchy, the king could put you in jail, he could give you a job or keep you from getting a job. They just wanted to come to a place where they could make a living, depend on their own skills, their own resources, where they could just be free to make their own way, free to worship in their own way, free of a government that could do exactly what our government is doing today. So they wrote those prohibitions into the Constitution. If you read Article 1, Section 8, it's very short, less than a page long, and one of those small constitutions that big. And so they wrote there everything that was allowed for the federal government to do, and everything else was reserved for the states. Then Section 9 begins to talk about what they're afraid of the government doing, and so they begin to put prohibitions on the government in Section 9. And again, those are less than 2 pages total. They wanted a very simple process of governing ourselves, and they wanted this contract between the government and the people. And so when we allow that Constitution to be bypassed, then we lose our rights, and that's exactly what's going on right now. So the discussion that you all are engaged in today is the proper role of the federal government. And keep in mind that their founding fathers had Article 1, Section 8, and still the 13 states would not ratify it. They said, we're not convinced yet. We are still afraid that this government is going to be so strong. So they came in with those first 10 amendments of the Bill of Rights. We go to Amendment number 10, and it echoes this same thing they're saying in those first 2 articles, that any right not expressly given to the federal government is reserved for the states. And only with that statement could they get this Constitution passed, because the 13 colonies did not want to answer to a big, strong federal government. And yet that's exactly what we have going today, a government that can keep you out of the forest, off the land, that can keep you from planting your own crops in your own fields. It can tell you when and where you can go inside the land that we all own together. And so it's a huge discussion. Make no mistake about it. As we proceeded in Otero County, about 6 weeks out, I told Ronnie that we're going to, first of all, they'll want to get along. They're going to want to work on cooperative agreements. And I said, all of that stuff is just talk. I've heard that now for 6 years, and it's just talk. So sure enough, it got closer. Well, then they got a little more resistant. Because they weren't signing off to do those cooperative projects. Cooperative projects mean y'all get back and sit down in your recliner at home and we'll manage this thing for you. It's too dangerous for you all to manage the land by yourselves. And so then I said, I'm going to show up, because eventually they're going to arrest, they're going to threaten to arrest someone. And I said, it's not going to make news if they arrest you or Susan. So it's what we're going to do is it'll make news if they arrest me. And so I said, let me be the first on the saw. And we're going to call their bluff on this thing. So sure enough, Thursday before the Saturday, we're going to cut on Saturday, the U.S. attorney showed up and said they're going to arrest everybody on site. Now this is where it is absolutely essential, if you're going to try to take back over land in your jurisdiction, that you have everybody on board. Every commissioner needs to be committed, the sheriff needs to be committed, and the district attorney. Because it was the district attorney and the local sheriff that said, okay, we're going to arrest each one of you federal people too, for kidnapping, for harassment, whatever. And so it was in a 12-hour stand down. And make no mistake about it, these were serious people from the federal government. They do not want the states to take back the power that belongs to them. They don't want the counties to take back the power. So we're struggling along right now in this constitutional question with the worst economy that the world probably has ever seen. And I will tell you that it's going to get much worse. We're not yet to the bottom. And we're going to see things that make 2008 look like a cakewalk. We're going to see tremendously higher inflation rates. And with inflation rates, you're going to find that seniors don't have enough money to pay their bills. And counties are sitting here broke. States are broke. And if you do not take jurisdiction back, then you're not going to be able to access these local supplies of resources to create the jobs, to put the people back to work in your area. So it's not only a constitutional question, it's a question about the jobs, and it's a question about the financial health of your counties, the financial health of the government, the state and local government. So the stakes are extraordinarily large, and it's going to take committed people. People who are willing to stand on the front lines like the Otero County Commission did, and make no mistake about it, that was a very courageous position. I've been right beside them, but the courage was on their part, not my part, because they're the ones that have to face local people and convince them that there is a reason for this contentiousness that we are engaged in. These are controversial things, and local people are asking questions, and they have a right to. The U.S. Attorney talked to me personally. I gave him my personal cell phone because I said, I don't think we're through yet. I think we're going to have 6, 8, 10 more counties do the same thing, and I'm going to be out there. I don't want you talking to my staff from now on. Why don't you call me personally? Because I think, as the U.S. Attorney, you need to make a decision which side of this Constitution you're on. So it's the discussion is becoming more intense, and if you, as counties, decide to move forward, then number one, I'll guarantee that we'll stand beside you. Just keep yourself on legal grounds, keep yourself on lawful grounds. That's the thing that is essential. But other than that, we're within our constitutional rights to move along the law. The New Mexico law is, I'm not sure about the Arizona law, but the New Mexico law allows us as counties to establish control over areas where the federal government has not controlled it properly, and it makes it unsafe. So you can declare unsafe about as widely as you want to. Burning down the town of Cloudcroft was the unsafeness that Otero County dealt with. The Wallow fire should have been declared unsafe before it burned. So we've got many instances of where the local governments can and should be able to operate things much better than the federal government has. It's going to take the courage to change this thing because inertia has set in. The American people are kind of used to seeing it the way it is, and you and I will be viewed as the ones that are disrupting a system. And so I believe that we're right. I believe it's the only way we're going to fix it. Keep in mind, I don't believe we're going to fix this in Washington. I do not believe it will get fixed in Washington. It's going to take committed patriots who are willing to stand up and make the changes in their local jurisdiction. I believe that we're constitutionally right. I believe that we are right morally, and I believe that we're going to be right in the hearts of the people, because as the economic stress moves toward us, people are going to be looking for answers, and the answers that they can see those jobs right out there in the mines that have been shut down. They can see them out there in the forest. Jobs have been shut down. They can see the agriculture jobs that used to be here and were shut down. They can see the oil and gas jobs that were here and shut down. I think that the people are going to be on our side, and I think it's going to be extremely important for us to have some idea, because the federal government will have no idea to move forward. When they succeed in collapsing the value of the dollar, no one is going to have an idea how to move forward. And so you local commissioners are going to be extremely important in that phase, saying, here's how we move forward. We're going to get more self-sufficient in this county. We're going to stop bringing in stuff from outside. We're going to start making ourselves. We're going to create our own jobs and our own economy right here. So just understand that that's the big playing field that I see from Washington. It's not necessarily more correct than the one you see. It's just a different viewpoint. And I thought it was awfully important to come in here and tell you today so that you would evaluate correctly which way you're going to move forward. Now I know we've got Catron County here. They've got their situation going. I think it's well planned out. I think it's mapped out. Again, a courageous decision from that county commission. Then we've got another decision on another road. I think that's in Otero County, isn't it? You all have a road issue. There are mines that are ready to start back. Things are ready to go. We're ready to have economies here. We just have to decide that we're going to have them. One of the sadnesses is that we used to, just in the rare earth minerals, we used to have 11 rare earth mineral sites in New Mexico. They were all mining. We allowed the Chinese to manipulate the market and kill every one of our mines. This year, the Chinese went up 35%. They put a 35% excise tax on rare earth minerals. What they're trying to do is make it too expensive for us to even run manufacturing. Rare earth minerals are used in the batteries, the Prius batteries, the cell phone batteries, high-tech things. That's where they're used. So they're trying to shut down even that manufacturing here and pull even more jobs away from us. So understand that we're not only in a battle with our federal government over the Constitution and its meaning, we're also in a battle for China over the jobs and the future of our economy. So I visualize those rare earth mineral mines. 6 of them are in the southern part of the state, if I'm right, and 5 up in the northern part. And those are jobs that are sitting there waiting to go. The market is ready. I'm willing to go back right now and suggest that we pass an emergency law that would say that any country that imposes an export fee, that we lock that fee in for the next 10 years to where they can't charge us 35% more today, and as soon as we start mining, they drop it back down to below market prices. That once they put a price on, then we lock that fee in, and so we would take, if they start lowering their excise tax, we would take the difference and maybe send it to the local county where they're trying to mine. Anyway, we can work our way through these economic times, but we're going to have to be committed, and we're going to have to realize that different voices and different ways of solving things have to be given to the federal government. And so I'm excited to see you all here. It means to me that there are more than just 4 or 5 of us who are committed to this idea that let's take charge of our own lives. I'll be available for questions, but I'm also here to stand with you. My only suggestion is follow the law very closely, have legal counsel, set up a template. If some county has already set the template up and they've already plowed the ground, don't go back and reinvest in a lawyer to figure it out. Follow that template religiously, but get everyone in the county on the same page. This is far bigger than Democrat versus Republican. We're going to have both sides pulling together in this. So go to your local Democrats, the people in the county, go to the local Republicans and say, we're talking about something that transcends party. We're talking about our country here. The stakes are that large. So with that, thank you very much, and I appreciate you having me over here today, but thank you for your discussions going on.